The warehouse that was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright has been never used to its full potential. History says that it was designed for Mr. German. There's really no real clear history that shows, or data that shows why he was hired to do this work. Speculation is that Frank Lloyd Wright had run up some debt with Mr. German. Mr. German was the mercantile in town, and therefore, there were speculations that Frank Lloyd Wright owed him some money, and this was his way of paying off his debt. The original Mr. German's mercantile building, warehouse, still stands today, and he outgrew that space. And so he needed to upgrade his space, make more space, and so the speculation is that because Mr. Frank Lloyd Wright had owed him, that there was a way to repay it. But from that point forward, Mr. German actually lost that building back for taxes and unpaid debts a couple of different times. He was able to raise money to get it back, and then in the 70s, another individual came forward and bought that warehouse, and he had all kinds of ideas of what to do with that building. However, they never materialized. Some of Frank Lloyd Wright's designs, are sometimes difficult to work with structurally and all of those things. It was designed as a warehouse. So there were a few companies that used it for individual floors for warehousing, but it never was used as open to the public. It was never promoted about Frank Lloyd Wright being the architect in it. And there was a push several years ago for it to be a museum. It started down that path. Again, financially, it wasn't able to sustain that. And buses would pull up. And the individual that owned it would get on the bus, collect $20 from everyone on the bus, and allow them to come in for a tour. But it wasn't really promoted as an open museum. With the internet nowadays, what's on there stays on there, so there are still some websites that talk about it still being open as a museum. And in the visitor center at the chamber office, we continue to get calls about buses wanting to still come and see the museum. Unfortunately, the building is owned by an estate right now that we are trying to buy it from for the purpose of restoring it to its historic integrity and also using it for community purposes, also a tourism attraction. It's already a destination. And so we need to try to find a way that we can encourage that tourism destination and provide a great experience when those people are coming to that. Right now they stand outside and they are in awe of the building itself, but it's starting to deteriorate and it needs a lot of tender loving care. And that's what we're attempting to do, is get that building in our hands, which is a public-private partnership, and restore it, historically correct the architecture, bring it back to where it needs to be so that it's a showcase for the community instead of right now it's not living up to its full potential. With people that are coming to see it, we've had people from several countries come see it. It's been noted with the International Architectural Association. There was an individual that came and viewed the building. They were on the board. The next international architectural meeting was going to happen in Paris, and he took this information back to his group and actually was telling people about the plight of this building and what needs to happen.